Step out of the vehicle! The command cuts through the night like a blade. Officer Travis's hand rests on his holster, his gaze locked on the man behind the wheel. Marcus Green doesn't move at first. 49. Black. Dressed in a clean Oxford and gray slacks. He looks like he's headed to church or a courthouse. Not that it matters. He lifts his hands slowly, fingers spread, and exits without a word. Across the street, a woman tightens her grip on her dog's leash. A jogger pauses. No one says a thing. But the unspoken judgment drips thick in the air. He probably stole it, Travis mutters to the rookie, nodding at the black Benz. Marcus doesn't flinch. May I ask the reason for the stop? Travis grins. You match the description. A wallet hits the ground as Marcus steps fully out. From inside, a photo tumbles. A young girl in a graduation cap standing beside a woman in a federal uniform. No one notices. A white SUV rolls past, unbothered. Travis doesn't blink. But beneath Marcus's lapel, a tiny green light blinks. And from a parked car down the block, a young woman lifts her phone, whispering, "Does he even know who his daughter is?" If you believe no one should be judged by their appearance, especially by those in power, hit the like button now and subscribe. Type "justice" in the comments and tell us where you're watching from. This story delivers the most powerful instant karma you'll see all year. The ending will leave you breathless. 2 weeks earlier, Marcus Green had stood before a circle of grieving parents in a church basement, his voice soft but steady. He spoke not as an expert, but as one of them, a widower who'd learned how to keep breathing through silence. Afterward, he walked out alone into the rain, umbrella forgotten. That's when the first cruiser rolled up. Hey, stop a second. No traffic violation, no incident, just a black man walking. They sat him on the curb. Standard protocol, they said. Marcus didn't argue. He just took the rein. He had grown up in Birmingham, the son of a Southern preacher who taught him that dignity was armor and silence was a scalpel. He never fought back. Not when he was followed in stores. Not when they pulled his daughter's college acceptance letter from the trash because it looked fake. He worked late shifts, earned a reputation as a peacemaker in courtrooms. He helped calm hostage situations and trained officers in conflict resolution. But no one asked for his credentials on the street. Serena, his only child, became the proof he never showed. She fought her way into federal service, holding her father's voice in every footstep. The same men who dismissed her in training now feared her name on an audit form, and they had no idea whose daughter they just insulted. Marcus never mentioned her. Not out of pride, out of protection. Back in the present, Travis Kincaid leaned in. So, what is it you do, Mr. Green? I teach people how to listen before they judge, Marcus replied. It wasn't a threat, but it landed like 1. Travis was everything the town praised. Clean-cut, sharp-jawed, firm but fair. Third-generation lawman with an attitude baked in old rules. He looked at Marcus and didn't see credentials. He saw suspicion. Moments after the stop, a young, white man crossed the same intersection. Hoodie loose, hands deep in his pockets, earbuds in. Travis didn't flinch. Marcus did. Just slightly, just enough. Because he saw it. Again. Same street. Different rules. Have you ever felt misjudged before people even knew who you were? Tell us in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Travis circled the car like a predator waiting for an excuse. His flashlight beam danced across the paint like it didn't belong there. You know this isn't your neighborhood, right? He muttered, low and casual, like a friend. Warning a trespasser, then louder. People like you think the rules don't apply when you've got a fancy car and no explanation. The backup officer said nothing, just watched. Just let it happen. Marcus kept his voice even. My name is Marcus Green. The registration's in the glove compartment. Don't move, Travis said sharply, hand hovering over his holster. It wasn't a request, it was performance. Without warning, the driver's door flung open. Travis grabbed Marcus by the arm and spun him hard against the hood. A thud, metal, bone. A sharp breath sucked in between clenched teeth. "Stop resisting," Travis snarled, though Marcus hadn't moved an inch. Across the street, behind the tinted glass of a parked sedan, Serena Green's hands shook. She zoomed in, hit record. She hadn't told her father she was following him. After the death threats, she couldn't take chances. But she didn't expect this. Not here. Not again. Inside the neighborhood, lights blinked on, one by one. A window creaked open, phones lifted, curtains twitched. But the silence stayed loud. A teen on a bike rolled by slowly. "Dang. Guess he did something," he said under his breath. Travis slammed Marcus's ID on the hood. It slid off, landed, in the gutter. He stepped on it. An elderly woman watering her roses paused, her hand trembling on the hose. Her mouth opened, but fear sealed it shut. Marcus slowly lifted his back off the car. Not fast, not aggressive, just enough. "I suggest you double-check what you're escalating," he said, his voice calm but blade-sharp. Travis scoffed and turned back toward the rookie. And in the shadows, Serena's hand hovered over her phone. One tap would activate a direct line, not to dispatch, not to local precincts, but to the agency that watched everything. She'd held her badge long enough. She never wanted to use it this way. But tonight, she just might. What would you do if someone challenged you publicly based only on assumption? Drop your response in the comments. "You think I don't know your type?" Travis stepped forward, close enough to fog Marcus's glasses with his breath. "Flashy car, smug attitude. I've dealt with dozens like you." The air was hot with the kind of rage that didn't need permission to exist. Travis's hand dropped to the baton on his belt, fingers twitching. "Give me one reason," he said, voice curling into threat, "and I'll drop you right here." The rookie officer watched, shoulders tight, lip twitching. His hand hovered near the radio but didn't touch it. He didn't dare. Across the street, a jogger slowed to a crawl. A porch light went out, then another, and another. Curtains pulled back from quiet living rooms, faces just barely visible behind the glass. But no one stepped out. The neighborhood was watching, just not speaking. Marcus didn't blink. "I haven't raised my voice. I haven't stepped out of line," he said, each word clean, quiet. "And I'm not the one escalating." Inside his jacket, a faint buzz rippled against his chest. He tapped his lapel once, quick, deliberate. Across the street, Serena saw the signal through her camera feed. Encrypted activation. A field code only someone in his circle would understand. It meant, this isn't just harassment, it's real. Act accordingly. A man on a nearby porch whispered to his wife, "I think I've seen that guy before. Wasn't he on that court panel after the riots?" The rumor floated in the air, half-formed, but enough to plant doubt, enough to shift a gaze. The bystander with the child tightened his grip. Shame worked across his face like a confession he hadn't spoken. He lifted his phone, began filming. His hands were shaking. Then came the lines. A truck rumbled by. A man in a camo cap leaned out. "Back the blue!" he yelled, slapping his door as he passed. But across the street, a teenage girl shouted back, "He's not doing anything!" It wasn't just a confrontation now, it was a stage, and no one knew which way the spotlight would swing. Marcus folded his arms behind his back. It was the posture he used in rooms full of broken men with loaded weapons. The same calm, the same control. The more they pushed, the more still he became. Travis's rookie leaned in hesitantly. "Should we maybe call it in?" he asked. Travis didn't look at him. "Not until I say so." In the sedan, Serena opened her purse, slid a hidden panel to the side, typed in a 10-digit string. A seal lit up on the small embedded screen. Federal Internal Affairs Division, Audit. Mode active. Not only was she recording, she was now reporting live. Travis stepped forward again. "This ends now," he shouted. "Phones down, or I start writing citations." He could feel it, the authority slipping between his fingers. Marcus stepped back, subtle, intentional, then tapped his wristwatch twice. Serena felt the vibration. He's done playing quiet. She exhaled and pressed the call button. One ring, then connection. Nearby, a woman laughed awkwardly. "Maybe he's recording for TikTok," she said. A man beside her chuckled, but neither of them looked anyone in the eye. The laughter died as fast as it came. Another passerby sneered, "You should have just obeyed." A second muttered, "Always think they're special." Marcus didn't move, didn't react. But Serena's hand scribbled down every word. Marcus reached again for his ID, still on the ground. Travis slapped it away. "I said, don't move!" His hand wrapped around Marcus's wrist, tight and twisting. The crack of tension was louder than his voice. Marcus winced. From the porch, a woman in a blanket called out, "Sir, I saw it all. I'm recording too." Travis turned to her like a wolf who smelled blood, but she didn't flinch. "You're interfering," he barked. She crossed her arms. "And you're lying." The rookie reappeared with a bottle of water. He handed it to Travis, deliberate, performative. He didn't even glance at Marcus. Not the man bruised, not the man bleeding from the wrist, just the one still pretending to be in charge. What would you do if you were in Marcus's shoes? Would you speak up? Or wait for the truth to reveal itself? Tell us in the comments, and if this moment made you pause, hit like and subscribe. Travis's grip tightened until Marcus's knuckles turned white. His wrist twisted, bones pressing awkwardly beneath skin. "You want to keep testing me?" Travis hissed. Then, shove. Marcus stumbled backward, spine crashing into the cold steel trunk. The license plate rattled. He hunched forward, one hand, gripping his side, his breath sharp and broken. Pain pulsed behind his ribs, but still, he didn't fall. "He's resisting," Travis shouted, spinning to face the growing crowd. "He's obstructing an officer." The rookie froze. His eyes darted to Marcus, then to the onlookers. A voice murmured near the curb, "That didn't look like resistance to me." Marcus straightened slowly, every movement deliberate. No sudden moves, no yelling, and still, he looked right at Travis. "All I've ever asked for is fairness." A woman recording from her mailbox nodded. "That's right. We saw everything." Then Marcus turned, walked a few steps toward his car. Travis smirked, thought it was over. But Marcus stopped, turned, and walked right back, eye to eye. He didn't speak, didn't blink. Even Travis flinched. "Don't ignore me!" Travis snapped, then drove an elbow into Marcus's ribs. Gasps exploded. "That's assault!" someone yelled. "You can't touch him like that!" Phones lifted higher. There was no more hiding. Marcus stood firm. "You just made a mistake," he said softly. "A public one." 3 bystanders stepped closer to Marcus. A porch light flared on, blinding, exposing. And from the sedan, Serena opened her door, badge still hidden, but no longer watching. She was moving. What do you think Marcus should do next? Stay silent, or let the truth shake the street? Let us know in the comments. If this chapter hit hard, like and subscribe for what comes next. The reveal is closer than anyone thinks. Marcus stood upright, palm pressed lightly to his ribs. The pain was sharp, but the silence sharper. "I've been patient," he said quietly, letting each syllable stretch. "I've been respectful, and I've tolerated enough." The words weren't raised. They didn't need to be. They rolled across the street like a current of gravity, heavy, unmovable. Across from him, Travis blinked. "You caused this!" he snapped, voice rising, with desperation. "You kept provoking me!" But the edge in his voice had dulled. It cracked mid-sentence. And when he looked around for backup, from the rookie, from the crowd, it wasn't there. The jogger across the street lowered his earbuds. The man under the street lamp stopped filming and started watching. Really watching. The rookie's hand drifted away from his utility belt. All of them looked to Marcus now. The one man who hadn't raised his voice was the only one holding the room. In the background, Serena approached her father's car. Calm, intentional. She popped the trunk. Inside was a matte black case. No labels, no markings, just weight. She tapped in a code. A soft hiss of pressure released as it unsealed. No one nearby could see what was inside, but they felt the shift in the air. Then Serena walked across the street to a man in a gray coat near the corner. Quietly, she handed him a small USB drive. He nodded, said nothing, and walked into the alley. Gone. No fanfare. But Travis noticed. He turned sharply toward her. "What's going on?" His voice was thin now, stretched taut. His eyes flicked between Serena and Marcus. "You two know each other?" Marcus didn't respond. Serena didn't need to speak. She smiled. From the porch, the woman in the blanket stepped off the stoop. "I saw everything," she said softly, just loud enough for Marcus to hear. "If you want, I'll write a statement." He nodded once. "I might take you up on that." Then he turned to the crowd, his shoulders square, his voice calm but commanding. "This isn't about a car," he said. "It's not about policies or mistakes." He looked directly at the man who had muttered earlier, then to the jogger, then to Travis. "It's about how we treat people when we think no one's watching." The air didn't move. The street didn't shift. But inside, that silence, something broke. Travis, jaw clenched, muttered under his breath, loud enough for the mic on Serena's phone to pick up and for several bystanders to hear. "This whole block's going soft. Used to be you people knew your place." The rookie froze. The woman from the porch stopped walking, and this time no one looked away. There was no shuffling, no awkward coughs, no changed subjects, just dozens of eyes, locked. Travis stood in the center of it, suddenly more exposed than anyone. Marcus stepped forward slowly. Not in threat, not in showmanship. Just so, the air between them was close enough for truth. "You overlooked one thing," Marcus said. "Everything you've done has been documented. Audio, video." He nodded slightly toward Serena. "And it's already been sent." He didn't say where. He didn't need to. Serena stood still, arms folded, her phone still recording. She didn't blink. She didn't need to. What would you do in Marcus's shoes? Would you stay calm or speak up? Comment below and hit like and subscribe. No one moves. The street holds its breath. The air thickens, like something unseen is crawling up everyone's spine. The rookie lowers his radio without being told. Across the street, a teenager stops pedaling mid-turn, foot hovering. Above the ground. It's not about laws anymore. It's about what's coming. A man in a charcoal coat adjusts his stance. No words, no alarm. He reaches into his pocket, not for a weapon, but a small signal device. One tap. A post-mounted camera whirs and locks onto the scene. Marcus places a smooth black object on the hood. It hums once, then glows blue. "Wait, is that federal?" someone whispers. Travis steps forward. "What are you doing?" he demands. His voice shakes. Marcus doesn't flinch. To those watching quietly, you'll understand soon enough. If you think the officer's actions have gone too far, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. "He's way too calm for just a citizen," someone murmured near the curb. Another voice followed. "Look at that tech. That's not normal." The whispers didn't sound like suspicion anymore. They sounded like realization. The man Serena had handed the USB drive to re-emerged from the alley. His coat was pressed, demeanor controlled. He walked straight to Travis and placed a sealed envelope in his hands. Thick, embossed, labeled with 3 bold letters, IA, Federal Oversight Division. Travis blinked. What is this?" He didn't know what IA stood for, but his knuckles went pale around the envelope. Then the light pulsed again from Marcus's device. Serena's phone buzzed in sync. With a swipe, she tapped play. Nearby phones began lighting up. Even the mounted monitor on the street corner came to life. The feed cut through the night like a scalpel. Grainy footage, date-stamped. Officer Travis Kincaid standing over a detained black teenager. His voice crackled through the speakers. No father figure, I bet. Figures. Gasps rippled across the street. Silence followed. No one could unhear it now. Then the low hum of engines. 2 black SUVs slid into position. Doors opened with sharp efficiency. Out stepped Deputy Director Alana Riggs, her presence as quiet as it was commanding. Her name carried whispers in internal affairs circles, the kind that traveled through closed-door meetings and never made it to press. She walked directly to Serena. "Agent Green," she said. Serena nodded. "We've got it from here." Riggs turned to face the crowd, raising her voice just enough. "The man you witnessed being assaulted tonight is a federal peace process liaison, and the woman beside him," she gestured to Serena, "is Special Agent Serena Green, lead for Internal Department Conduct Review." Travis's knees buckled. He didn't fall, but the collapse had begun. From the sidewalk, a man who had watched silently now shouted, "That's why she looked familiar. I saw her on that investigative docu-series." Phones lifted again. Not just to record, to document history. Marcus stepped forward, not toward Travis, but toward the crowd. "I've been walking this street for weeks," he said. "Not to provoke, not to test." His gaze landed on Travis. "I was giving you a chance not to fail yourself." Travis's lips parted, but only fragments came out. I didn't know." His voice cracked. "I had no idea who he—" "You never asked," Serena cut in. Riggs turned to her agents. "Officer Travis Kincaid, detained for questioning. Effective immediately. Badge suspended." Gasps surged. A cheer started. Then another. And then silence again. Not the kind birthed by fear, the kind born of respect. Marcus gave a quiet nod to Serena, then turned and walked toward the SUV. He didn't speak, didn't gloat. He didn't need to. Federal compliance officers surrounded Travis and the rookie. I didn't know," the rookie stammered. One officer laid a hand on his shoulder. "Then maybe you should have asked." Serena turned to Travis, her voice calm. "You never asked who he was. You never looked. You saw black, you saw Benz, and you saw nothing else." Someone clapped, then another. Then silence returned, this time as a verdict. Marcus turned back one final time. "You chose your bias," he said. "You thought your badge gave you permission." He exhaled, long and slow. "It gave you responsibility." Even the rookie took a step away from Travis. Now, Travis stood alone. He took 2 slow steps toward his cruiser. "Sir!" He froze. Riggs stepped forward. "You're not going anywhere. This isn't over for you. It's just beginning." A compliance officer approached. "Your weapon, your badge." Travis hesitated, looked around for an ally. There were none. He placed the badge and weapon in the officer's hand. A camera clicked. The photo would go viral. "You'll now report to the Federal Oversight Board," Riggs said. "Pending trial." Travis tried once more. "It wasn't personal." Serena turned away. "It became personal the moment you made it public." Marcus faced the crowd. "To those who watched, thank you. To those who recorded, thank you." He paused. "To those who felt something was wrong and stayed quiet, do better." The woman in the blanket from the porch wiped a tear. Marcus met her eyes. She nodded. He nodded back. Then he turned toward the SUV. As he passed a digital billboard near the end of the block, the ad changed mid-roll. A silent swipe across the screen. Federal Oversight Board Chair, Marcus Green. A man watching from inside a nearby cafe stood up. Holy, that's him. And just like that, everyone finally knew who they had nearly forgotten to see. Do you believe Travis deserves forgiveness or the full weight of consequences? Tell us in the comments. And if you felt that, reveal in your chest, like, subscribe. As Marcus reached for the SUV door, a voice stopped him. "I've seen men yell to be heard," said an older man in the crowd, his voice rough with age. "But you won with silence." He nodded, eyes shining. "That's what stayed with me." By morning, the footage had traveled across state lines, commentary, headlines, think pieces. But what people remembered wasn't the badge drop. It was the stillness, the restraint, the unshakable calm, and the fire in Serena's eyes when she stepped between right and wrong. At a town hall the following week, Marcus stood quietly before a packed room. "Power doesn't come from volume," he said. "It comes from the weight of your truth." He turned to the teens in the back row. "If they look past you, let them. Stay still. When it matters, they'll have to look again." Weeks later, Marcus walked that same street. The rookie officer spotted him. "Evening, sir." No tension, no orders, just respect. Elsewhere, Travis sat in a compliance circle, silent but listening, not forgiven, but no longer ignorant. And on Marcus's desk sat a new folder, Phase 2 Authorization, Civilian Oversight Expansion. He smiled. Legacy lives in the silence they remember us by. If this story moved you, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's ever been judged too soon. And tell us in the comments, should people like Travis be forgiven or held fully accountable? Let's talk about it.